Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Bream Fishing Project. In this episode, we are dialing back the clock to the 15th and 16th of June 2024, shooting across the country to Western Australia to review the 2024 Daiwa Bream Series Garmin Blackwood River Round, which was held back on the 15th and 16th of June. All right, let's roll the intros and we'll get into all the stuff and get straight into the angler interviews. Here we go.
Welcome to the Bream Fishing Project. This is where you need to be every Tuesday to find out all the latest tips and tricks to help you target bream on lures. You'll get to hear from some of Australia's elite bream competition anglers and see how they were able to achieve their results in competitions around the country. Now, here's your host, the 2019 Hobie Kayak Fishing World Champion, Andrew Deeth.
All right. So as I record this, I've just released the episode on the Bream Fishing Project Collective. So it's a bonus episode and tells you what we've got going on over the next couple of months. So you're going to find out more about it once you jump into the live streams. And I've got a bit of a plan going and hopefully you'll find that very exciting. I'm definitely excited. I'm sure there's going to be a great response to that. I'm definitely looking forward to it. If you haven't subscribed, there'll be links in the whatever podcast platform you're on. If you go into the description, you'll be able to find a link of where to subscribe. And anyway, tomorrow night we're going to have a live stream, so it'll be the first one, a bit of a test. So hopefully that goes well. Make sure when you subscribe, your email's up to date. Initially, it's going to be the only way I'm going to be able to contact you unless your number's in my phone. So get straight onto that. All right, so this round, the 2024 Daiwa Bream Series, they jumped across to the Blackwood River and it was a great little event. Some of the regulars getting up. I mean, Alex and Joseph on the top and then Robert Dawson coming in third in the boaters division. And then after that, Michael Samet getting up for a win, followed by Scott Cicluna and Bill Bland. I didn't actually get to interview Bill Bland at this point, but he did come in third place. All right, so this is a massive episode, so I think we're just going to get straight into the angler interviews. Here we go. Okay, so up next in second place in the non-boater division, I've got an angler dropping his 6 fish for 2.57 kilos. He's had a great year. I'd like to welcome to the Bream Fishing Project, Scott Cicluna. Welcome here, mate.
Thanks for having me, mate. Yeah, good to be on.
Yeah, mate. Nice little round over there. A bit of travel to get there for you.
Yeah, it was thing I was thinking, like I said, Peter Brookle and a few blokes said, you got to go, angler of the year, got a chance. You know what I mean? Head up there, and I did. I put myself in, and I probably appreciate Callum Dowell, who put me on this Carl State, who put me in as a non-boater. So I knew I was going, so it was good. And Carl picked me up from the airport, which is much appreciated, Carl. I shout out to Carl State. Appreciate what he's done. And, yeah, I did pre-fish with him as well, so it was pretty cool. So I travelled with him all the way down to Blackwood River. So, yeah, it was great.
All right. And how'd you go on your pre-fish? Did you get into them?
Yeah, look, Carl and me went out and, it's an amazing place. Serenity, beautiful. There's a lot of snags. You don't see under the water. It was pretty cool, pretty surreal at the front, and we went upriver as well. Yeah, we had a great pre-fish. We ended up catching a fair few. Got a quality one in pre-fish, which I caught in the comp, but ended up getting a 41 forker. Yeah, it was a cracking fish. Yeah, it was pretty cool. And I got pre-fish princess, which was, I didn't really want that, but in the end I ended up getting it with that cracking fish I had. But had a good pre-fish with Carl. We up the front and up the rivers we caught plenty, and it was more of a game plan for Carl and more me understanding what the fish wanted. So it was good to know that, and it was pretty cool.
And are you a confidence fisherman? Like if you go out and get someone pre-fish, that helps you, or does it make any difference to you?
It does make a difference. I mean, you want to catch them in pre-fish. You want to know what they want. If you don't catch too many on pre-fish, you think, what am I going to do? You know what I mean? I threw a few things in pre-fish and caught them on, quite a few things. You know what I mean? I even, the one I caught, the 41 forker, was on Hurricane Vibe, sting one. So, but I first cast on it, and I thought, well, we're catching them on baby vibes. We're catching them on, I was catching them on Sprats 75 in gun and also in paddle tail. So it was good to know that, you know, I mean, throwing a few things on pre-fish and catching them on variety of things was very helpful. Do you know what I mean? Not being there, not knowing what they wanted, but in the end, it was one of those things. I didn't cut through the baby vibe till probably late in the day, and I thought I'll give this a crack, and we ended up catching a few more, and I felt confident the baby vibe was going to go. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as you know, as you're aware, I'm pretty happy with the baby vibe. It's a great little lure, but it seems to work very well in West Oz as well.
I did. Even I think majority of the blokes who fished on both days, whoever were up there, caught a lot of them on baby vibes.
Yeah, very good. All right, mate. Moving round to comp day. On day one on the Saturday, who'd you get paired up with, and how was your day?
I think a local bloke. I think it was Adrian Barbour. Well, yeah, I think that's his name. I think that's how you pronounce it. So yeah, Adrian. Yeah, so I had him on the first day. So yeah, we had a pretty good day actually in the end. Or I'm not too sure if he got his back. I think he only got 4, pretty sure. But yeah, but he was on the fish, just trying to convince him to bite on the first day was hard at times. But in the end, yeah, I ended up getting my bag pretty early, and then just upgrading during the day. So yeah, it was pretty cool. We went around pretty much all mainly out the front. We didn't really. We went up river first, and I think my first cast I got 1, so I was pretty happy with that. On the Hurricane, I only had 2 in my tackle box of the Hurricane stingers, and I got first cast got 1, and then the second cast got 1, and the third cast I lost it.
Oh,
so
no.
Yeah, snagged up, and that's it. And then I had another one was green colour, just didn't work. So then I changed to the baby vibes. That's when I started just keep peppering along all day and kept upgrading in the end. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
How did you find the bite there? Was it basically throw it out, let it sink to the bottom and get hit, or did you have to work it back?
Look, it was sort of a slow retrieve coming back with it. I think it wasn't like you couldn't work it too hard, like get it down to the bottom and then slowly just give it a bit of a little hop at the bottom. And I usually mainly picked it up from the bottom, really, is you feel a little tick and just you have to, once you feel the tick, you bang, had to set the hook in, and you set the hook, you're on. It was great. So
very good. And are you 2 hooks on the baby vibe or a single on the back?
No, just a single hook on the back.
Okay.
They seem to work better. I feel they seem to work better, but so all the thing is sometimes with the double, the hooks seem to tangle up a bit. That's how I feel about them. So the single hook's better for at the back. That's why I enjoy it.
Okay, so basically you got a couple of fish straight up, and then you kind of got them throughout the rest of the day, is what I understand.
Yeah. During the day, just kept catching them. You know, I mean, they weren't big. I mean, 26s and 27 tippers, but in the end, still good fun. And then I think I ended up getting a kick of fish at the end and got a 32 at the end. So maybe pumped me up to, I think I ended up being leading in the first day, I think. So, yeah, so that bumped me up to just, I think it was 1.5 kilos, I think, the first day. Pretty sure it was.
Yeah, I can't see. Yeah.
Something like that, I think. And yeah, but had a couple of local blokes behind me, Bill Bland, and I'll pronounce this right. I call it Zamet, but I think it's Zamut. I think that's how he pronounces his last name. He was a local bloke, so right behind me. I knew that the second day was going to be pretty tough when you got a couple of local blokes chasing you. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
Exactly. All right. So day 2, mate, who'd you get paired up with, and how was day 2?
I had I think it was another local bloke, Richard Raham. I think it was Raham. Good knacker. Yeah, it wasn't an easy bite the second day. He decided to go straight up river, which I was confident. All right, let's go. And pretty much I think I had my 4 rods over on the boat. I had 3 of them had baby vibes on. I think I had one that had sprat on it, but I just knew that I could get my fish on baby vibes going up there. So I was pretty confident. But then after a couple of hours, I think we might have had 1 in the boat, and he had none at the moment. I think he got railed a couple of times on snags. So there's a lot of snags up there that you didn't notice until you got right close to the bank and you go, oh, geez, rightio, that's where he got me. But yeah, we were just flicking going up the river and flicking along the banks, and yeah, we ended up getting a few in the end, but they weren't big, you know what I mean? But in the end, trucking 26, 27 tippers in, but like in the end, I think I still had a productive day. It was just a harder bite in the end, or bigger quality fish on the second day, but plenty of fish caught on the back of the boat. I think Richard had bites on and lost them or pulled hooks, and poor bugger was getting a bit frustrated. But in the end, I think he ended up getting 4 at the end of the day, Richard. But I think that's where he ended up getting, I think. But yeah, poor bugger struggled a little bit, but in the end, yeah. But in the end, he had a good attitude, and that's the way fishing goes sometimes. That's the way it was.
That's it. And it sounds like you had different days between day 1 and day 2. Was that kind of location based, or do you reckon it was different patterns? Or
I think it was a different area where we were fishing on the first day. I think the fish sort of went a bit deeper. I don't know. That's how I felt. They were more on the deeper drop off on the banks. Look, the weather was still the same. I think it was pretty good weather we had. We didn't really have it was temperature was pretty much the same both days. So I don't know. Look, in the end, I got pressured a bit. Maybe I'm not too sure. But yeah, the bite was a lot harder on the second day. It was the first day, but in the end, it was still a pretty good day. I mean, I think fishing every day is a good day. I reckon. Catch them, you don't. You catch them. It's just the way it is sometimes. So yeah.
Exactly. And look, for the trip over to West Isles, did you learn anything? Did you bring back any techniques or anything you went, oh, okay, I didn't know that?
Probably different technique. Look, baby vibe, you know what I mean? I probably worked it slower than I do at home. You know what I mean? The bite was a lot slower. Like they sort of just picked it at the bottom where, you know what I mean, at home at the time, the Gippsland Lakes, you give it a bit of a rip and you seem to get hit when it's ripping a bit more. That's how I felt it. But yeah, it was a slower like pick up from the bottom bite with the vibes. You know what I mean? Let it sit in the water a bit longer. You know what I mean? Be a bit more patient with it. And they seem to be picking up from the bottom, which was pretty cool. So in the end.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting observation. All right, mate, for the weekend, what were you running in terms of lines and leaders?
Yep. So I was pretty much using, for braid-wise, I've got a couple setups. I've got the X braid on one of my reels, and the other two had the J braid, the new J braid, and the other one, I'm pretty sure, on top of my head, is Ziglon.
Oh, yeah, Siglin, yep.
Yeah, Siglin. So, yeah, look, I've tried a few different braids. Look, in the end, problems with any of them. And for my leader, I ran 4 pound. I just love using 4 pound. 4 to 5 pound I use a fair bit. Look, sometimes I'll up it up to 8 if it's around jetties and that, but 4 to 5 pound I seem to be confident that, look, you're going to get raw at times, but I'm just confident that, you know what I mean, the leader that I'm using 4 or 5, I'm getting them out of structure if I can. It's working with them is great. So I don't mind using the FC Rock 4 pound, but I've been going with the V-Hard, which is hard to get hold of these days, but I definitely love using the V-Hard 4 pound. Yeah, it's got a bit more strength in it, I think, and a bit more love using it. So
yeah, very good. All right, mate. For second place over there, what did you get to take home?
We've got a dialer pack. A lot of spikes and a lot of plastics, minnows, and jig heads. Yeah, so pretty cool. Good pack. Thanks for Dialer, mate. It was really cool. They're a great sponsor of the ABT, and they provide a very good package. So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, Kadachis and all that. A lot of hard bodies that I use, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely down there. You'll be able to get some big blacks on them and get them belted.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, when it warms up. So
very good. All right, mate. Mate, one final thing before we head off. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to or say thank you to?
Oh, definitely. Big shout out to Carl State, picking me up from the airport. Carl Dell, just a genuinely great bloke who put me on to Carl State and getting me to get over there. You know what I mean? I did enter myself, and then I thought, geez, I hope I'm going. I don't want to book the airport in and flights and stuff like that, and then not get a certainty to go over there when they booked me in. It was awesome from them. The West Australians, you know what I mean, they all welcomed us. It was great. You know what I mean? A few of the East Coasters went over there, and it was a good bunch of blokes. You know what I mean? I recommend it to anyone that from the East Coast to go over there next year and as a non-boater and a boater and go and catch those black bream and yellows, I think, over there, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, pretty cool.
And have a bit of fun.
That's it. That's what it's all about. So.
Very good. All right, mate. That's fantastic, mate. Mate, I want to thank you for coming on, and I know I'm going to talk to you again very shortly.
No, nice. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks, mate. All right, fishing.com.au, your one-stop bream lure and tackle shop. Pick up the latest tackle, including Muscle Vibes, Cranker Crabs, OSP Bent Minnows, Z-Man Plastics, Eco Gear Lures, and Daiwa Rods, Reels, and Tackle. Same-day shipping. Shop with the world champion, the Australian champion, and the current ABT champion shops. Fishing.com.au. online or in store at shop 18/29 Kiora Road, Miranda. All right, so for those of you who've been listening for a long time, you know that I love my baby vibes. Anyway, Adam's got the cockle colour coming in, should be in by the time this comes out, with a red eye. And I think that sometimes the red eye can make all the difference. So definitely jump on those. If you've never used them, I've just recorded another episode where they smashed them on baby vibes. So get onto Adam. And while you're there, get yourself some 2 or 3 pounds straight through. Give that a crack. Anyway, more on that to come. Fishing.com.au. Okay, so up next in first place, we have an angler dropping 3 fish for 1.22 kilos, backing it up on day 2 with a bigger bag of 3 fish for 1.49, giving him a total of 6 fish for 2.710 kilos. I'd like to welcome for the first time as champion, Mr. Michael Summit. Welcome, mate.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me again.
No worries at all, mate. You must be cheering, mate. It's been a long time to get here and finally you did it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, really nice to finally get a win under the belt.
Yeah, definitely, mate. It's always an achievement, and yeah, everything's kind of got to go your way a little bit to make it happen.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very good. All right, mate. We've got a bit to get through, so let's start off with your pre-fish and tell us who you went with and how that went down.
Yeah, so fished with Mark Crompton on the pre-fish. He flew over. I lent him my boat, and we sort of explored everywhere in the river. We went right down the front, through the middle, the ski area. We went up past Alexandra Bridge. There was plenty of fish, but everywhere we went, it was a struggle to get size. So it was just a matter of, I don't know, for him anyway, he had to work out what his plan was from sort of all the small fish that we went through. And for me, it was a matter of who I got on the 2 days.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And was there any standouts on the pre-fish? Anything that kind of clued you into patterns?
Not really. Everything was sitting deep, most of the fish anyway. We fished a bit of flats and that sort of thing, few fish here and there, but predominantly most of the fish were sitting a bit deeper, around that 3 metre mark.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, let's roll around into competition day. Who'd you get paired up with and how'd you go about catching your fish?
Okay, day 1 had Matt McCarthy. It's good because we're mates as well, so, it's good fishing as a non-boater with someone you're friends with, so then that way it's easier to fish. You're not as blocked out as much or anything like that. But we went up the ski area. We didn't travel too far up and focused predominantly on deeper stretches of banks. So ones that dropped off relatively quickly, found fish sitting around that 2.5 to 3 metre mark. So most of the day it was sitting out from the bank and either fishing parallel or just trying to find deep banks to fish. I was using the River to Sea Baby Vibe in the chrome silver colour.
Okay, yep, little bait fish profile.
Yeah, and that accounted for all of my fish on day 1.
Right, okay. All right, so a couple of things about that. So you're fishing in the boat, one up the front, one up the back, or 2 up the front? How'd that look?
Yeah, one. I was at the back.
Yep. Okay, and if you're fishing parallel, how did that work? Did he have the boat side on or was you casting past or...
Yeah, so boat was on a bit of an angle. The way we sort of worked it was I'm always casting behind him. So that way I'm never sort of impeding on where he's trying to fish. So if we're casting towards the bank, I'm always making sure I'm sort of a couple of metres behind wherever he's casting and just picking gaps. Then when I found there wasn't really much fish sitting shallow, I asked if I could cast forward but out deeper while he was fishing forwards and in. So then he angled the boat a bit, so then I was sort of out towards the back so I could cast forward into deeper water. We caught a couple of fish that way, so then we sort of positioned the boat a bit better where we were both fishing deeper.
Okay, interesting. So you kind of dialed into a little bit of a pattern there.
Yeah, that's right.
And while you were catching your fish, was Matt doing the same? Like, because he ended up, I think, 4th in the boaters. Was he getting similar sort of fish?
Yeah, similar fish. I know he was using a couple of different lures to me. From memory, he was using blades, possibly some plastics as well. Can't really remember. But yeah, we sort of had similar things on, but always a little bit different.
Yeah, okay. Same, but different.
Yeah, that's right.
Fair enough. Okay, so with the baby vibes, as you know, it's one of my favourites. Are you a single hook guy? You 2 hooks?
Yeah. In the Blackwood, I like to fish at single hook because of how snaggy it is there, just trying to minimize your chances on, getting hooked up on things apart from fish.
Sure. Apart from fish, that's it. And are you letting it sink to the bottom and then hopping it, or you dropping it down slow rolling? How's that look?
Yeah, hopping. Cast out, let it sink, waiting a while. A lot of the time it's either hit on the drop or while it's sitting on the bottom.
Yeah.
And then just small lifts, maybe a foot. So not trying to put a great deal of action in it.
Sure. All right. And throughout the day, like how'd you go getting them? Did you get them in the morning or all through the day?
Yeah, throughout the day, it was slow fishing. I maybe caught about 9 legals through the day. I probably had a bag by about 9:30, and then it was just trying to upgrade.
Okay.
Yeah, except got a couple of upgrades towards the end of the day.
Okay. And was there any standouts in the bag, or are they all similar at the end of the day?
Yeah, all fairly similar. I think I had 2 around 36 fork and 1 around 29 fork.
Okay. All right. So overnight, what position were you in?
Sitting in third, and I had Scott Cicluna in front of me and Bill Bland, which was second. So I think it was about 300 or so grams from memory behind him. So it was all fairly tight, but because of the size of the fish throughout the field, everything was fairly small. So 300 grams was quite a big jump as well. So it's either you needed to get something fairly special, or they needed to not do as well as they did on, yourself by a few hundred grams.
Exactly, which definitely can happen. All right. So Sunday morning, mate, who did you get paired up with, and how was your day?
Yeah, Joseph Gardner.
Righto.
So he was leading day one. So a lot of the non-boating to me comes down to the draw. If you get a couple of people who are on fish and they sort of have a plan, it always makes it easier for yourself, because, the whole thing about it is being on fish. It doesn't matter how good or bad you are. So I knew he was on fish, which was good. And we're good mates as well. We fished together. We're both in real estate, so it was like a snake oil convention on there.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so in the morning we headed downriver around North Bay, I think it was. And basically his plan was there's fish through there. He got a couple of his biggest fish on day one through the stretch as well. And if we don't bag out there's another place to go where we should be able to bag out if we don't have.
All right. So tell us about how your fish came. Like, was it, like, how'd it go?
Yeah, so day 2 with Jojo, I was fishing sprats mostly, using a 1/20th or a 1/30th Daiwa jig head. I'm either using the machete or the gun color with them. And yeah, we were fishing a shallow bank. It was maybe about a metre where the boat was sitting, and reed edges. So just casting at them and just working the lures back. Most of my fish that I caught, I think I bagged out and upgraded once along pretty early. So I had my bag by about 8:30, 9 o'clock, I'd say. And all of my fish was sort of right after he caught a herring.
Really?
So he'd pull in a herring, I'd cast in where the herring came, and then I'd get a bream from it. So
right. Beautiful plan.
And that happened about 3 or 4 times throughout the morning.
Okay. So then the difference between the sprat and the baby vibe, like why didn't you just fish the baby vibe, being good to you the day before?
Baby vibe, I mostly use it in deeper water. So if you're fishing sort of 2 meters, 3 meters, you've got that slow drop coming through. With the sprat, it's also a slow drop, but I find that I just prefer it in shallow water. That's what I sort of use everywhere, Malakuta and everything like that as well.
Okay. That's fair. And is there much difference in the retrieve between the two? Once the baby vibe gets to the bottom, is it sort of the same thing?
A little bit more aggressive with the sprat. So with the baby vibe, I'll mostly do one hop, but with the sprat, I'll flick the rod up 3 or 4 times to get it close to the surface and then let it drop down again.
Let it sink back down again. Okay, cool. And have you had any Mark Crompton masterclasses on fishing sprats and duros and that sort of stuff?
Yeah, that's definitely helped a lot, especially because we're good mates as well. So we pre-fish all the comps together, and it definitely learnt a lot from him. He's really good with them.
Exactly, yeah, which is exactly why I asked. Okay, so you had your fish early with a couple of upgrades. What about through the back end of the day? Did you get any more?
Managed one upgrade toward the end of the day. We fished a few other spots. I don't think I upgraded anything throughout the day, and then it would have been maybe, I'd say, 12:30 to 1 o'clock. We were fishing some tea trees, fishing brim prawns, and he pulled a fish. I cast in just behind him and pulled another one, which was a 33 forker. So that was my kicker for the day.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's going to make a huge difference. All right. So you ended up with 1.49. Just before we move off the fishing, what sort of leaders and lines and leaders were you running for the comp?
Yeah, using 4 pound leader. So I used the Daiwa Finesse fluorocarbon. It's the pink spool. And I used Varivis braid, which is a 0.6 PE, but 13 pounds, so thin diameter, high breaking strain.
Yeah.
8-ply braid. It's nice and smooth, strong. Never had problems with it, so just stick with that.
Very nice. And what about scent? Do you run any scent for the weekend?
Yeah, I do. Guzzle Goop. I've got a couple of those left, so I'm sparingly using that. And then I've got a few others that I'm trying out as well, but not too sure which one's better than the other. It's just a matter of just trying to be confident with them.
Exactly. Yeah, a lot of time on the water with that sort of stuff.
Yeah, but with the sprats, I'm always got scent on them, so I'm always reapplying throughout the day.
Yeah, okay. Cool. All right. I reckon that's a pretty good rundown of the fishing. Mate, for first place, what did you get to take home? Apart from the winners, bragging rights and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that's right. So I got a Daiwa prize pack, and it had, I don't know, maybe about 20 packets of soft plastics, a few spools of braid, and maybe about 20 hard bodies as well. So quite a good prize. There was probably at least $1,000 worth of bits and pieces in there.
That's insane. That's very, very good.
No, really happy with that. But the wooden trophies, that's the real prize.
Exactly, especially after you've been trying to get it for a long time. It's great to finally get there. Mate, coming in on day 2, you had 1.5 or just under 1.5 kilos. What were your thoughts coming into the weigh-in?
Oh, I definitely didn't think I had it. I know Scott, a fellow Maltese guy, and he's a good fisherman, and I thought he'd definitely smack him on that day. And everyone was coming to me saying, "Oh, Scott got a good bag," and the talk before the weigh-in, and it's like, "Oh yeah, cool." And yeah, then I think he weighed 900 and something grams. So yeah, managed to just jump ahead by 150, 200 grams or something.
Perfect. Oh, that's very good. All right, mate. I reckon that's a great rundown of all that. Who is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to or say thank you to?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank Morgo and the ABT, Nicole. They do an amazing job organising all the events around Australia, and it's always run at a high standard. There was the Daiwa Bream Series, so thank Daiwa. There was a Garmin round, thank Garmin as well for support with the series. And yeah, I like Temple Reef are rods that I've been using a lot lately. The Grand Opus STZ, they're a really nice rod, so I'd like to thank them for the support with getting the rods in. And there's not really many shops here that stock them, so I get them from overseas.
Yeah, nice. So that's Temple Reef, is it?
Yeah. So they do a whole range of stuff from GT outfits down to Bream.
Yeah, nice. All right, mate. I reckon that's pretty awesome, mate. I want to say congratulations for winning. It's always a good feeling. And, mate, hopefully we get to have a talk again with you as another winner.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
No worries. Thanks, Michael. All right, if you're in the market for a new fishing kayak or looking to make some upgrades to your existing kayak or possibly looking at fishing kayak fishing tournaments, then HWS is the place to go. They have a full range of Hobie kayaks and stock the latest kayak accessories and are really dialed in when it comes to the best kayak fishing setup for the casual fisher and the tournament angler. All right, hws.com.au, online or in-store at Shops 3 to 638 Pacific Highway, Belmont. James offers free delivery across Greater Sydney, Central Coast and Hunter. If you're outside of that, shoot him a message. He'll get back to you with a price. All right, now, the last couple of weeks, I've just become more in love with my Hobie 360. I'm finding for the structure, just the maneuverability and the stability of the platform is unparalleled. there's been a few gripes with people go, there's a few teething issues. And while that's true, the times that I've not been able to fish out of my 360, I really, really want it back. And I think that probably speaks volumes. So look, if this is something you're interested in, definitely get onto James. There's a couple of secondhand ones going around at any given time. And he's also got the new XRs in store. So hws.com.au. All right. So up next in third place in the boated division, we have an angler dropping 5 fish for 2.23 kilos on day one. Backing it up with a slightly bigger bag on day two of 5 fish for 2.35, giving him a total of 4.58 kilos. And third place, I have Robert Dawson. Welcome to the show, mate.
G'day, mate. How you going?
Mate, I am going well. Mate, that's a nice little result for you down on the Blackwood. What is it, a month ago?
Yeah, back in June, yeah.
Back in June, yeah. Mate, you and I haven't spoken before. Do you fish many of the competitions over there?
I have in the past, but yeah, over the few years now I haven't fished many, but yeah, mainly just fish the local one, which is the Blackwood for me.
The Blackwood. Fortunately, they have a couple of comps down there.
Yeah. No, it's a good spot.
Definitely. All right. Well, mate, let's roll into it. So in terms of pre-fishing, mate, had you get a chance to get out in the water leading up to the event?
Yeah, well, I'm always on the water down there. I run a charter business, charter fishing tours. So yeah, I'm always down there on the water. So yeah, managed to get out for a pre-fish.
Okay. And leading up to the event, had you noticed anything that helped you in the comp, like any patterns or lure choices or what have you leading in?
Yeah, well, up the top where I usually fish is up past Alexander Bridge. There's the whole river set up like quite a spring pattern, which is where the salt water's pushing up and it's pushing the fresh water back. This year it was round the other way. So yeah, what happens? It's like there's about a kilometre of river there where the fish really tend to really congregate and really on the chew. So I kind of managed to find that area. Luckily, just honed it on that type of area for the comp.
Right. So does that mean you're sort of fishing like a sort of brackish area?
Yeah, well, that's why I think they're there is exactly that. Yeah, it's that brackish bit of water that, where it's mixing and you can almost draw a line on the bank, where it stops. And yeah, it's really interesting once you start fishing it. You can really notice it when you go past it. Yeah, the fish really stop biting. Yeah.
Okay. Is it like I'm actually not familiar with over there? Like, when are they spawning?
I think September they usually spawn. I'm not quite sure either. September-ish, I think. Yeah, it's their main spawning time. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not now because I know the black brim. They travel upriver to the point where they get to the correct salinity, and that's where they spawn. Even though they're not spawning, it sounds like a sort of similar pattern. Yeah.
No, look, it's not usually this time of year. It usually starts in the other way around. Where I think this year that we had there was been a lot of salt water pushed up the river, and this year it was the fresh water pushing down, which kind of created that same pattern as it would do in spring.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, let's roll into competition day. Tell us about your Saturday, how you went about catching your fish and whether it was a good day on the water or a slow day, or how'd that look?
Yeah, well, Saturday, my game plan was I was kind of relying on I did a bit of a pre-fish downstream as well, and I was kind of relying on the guys having a bad day downstream.
Sure.
Yeah, because if there's not a lot of tide flow down there, it becomes pretty difficult. So I was hoping it wasn't going to. And yeah, so I went up. So my plan was to go upstream. And so I stopped about halfway up. I thought I'd just make sure I wasn't going to miss out on a bite that might have been happening and go too far. So, but yeah, once I stopped and had a fish for 20 minutes, I suppose, and one little bank, and it was it wasn't much going on. So yeah, just proceeded up to my wedge of fish and just started fishing.
Right. And what did you use to target the fish once you got up to this area?
So I was mainly started using on day one was a bent minnow.
Okay.
Swims in the bloodworm, and I think I threw OSP dunk as well.
Okay. Right. That was a good mix. Okay. So if we start with the bent minnow, so do you have much luck with them on surface?
Yeah, we did, because I was mainly targeting in the Blackwood, it's funny, you kind of get a sandy, shallower side, and then the opposite side will be quite deep. So, I really was targeting that shallow side where it kind of gradually drops off into deeper water, where the other side's kind of steep and drops off quite quickly. So I was kind of targeting those fish that were kind of, up on the bank and feeding, high up.
High up, yeah. And that was my next question. Were they right on the edge, or were they sitting back in a bit deeper?
Yeah, a bit of both, actually. Yeah, sometimes they just come out of nowhere. And then the tea tree seemed to hold quite a few. That's where probably my best fish came from, was, tea tree, overhanging tea tree, which was, a good spot.
Fair enough. So then if you flipped over to a dunk, does that mean you swapped to the other side of the river?
No, I just mainly, I was just rotating through the three of them. Yeah, and then as we kind of moved up, it was more just the slim swim and the bent, mainly just a slim swim. Yeah, because the fish were, kind of worked out they were probably just sitting back off the edge a bit. So, just trying to target that deeper water, probably 2.5 metres deep.
Okay. What's your preferred jig head for a slim swim?
I can't remember what is it. Is it, say, TT, and a 1/16?
Okay. Yeah, so reasonably light.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. And in terms of once you got there, did the fish come throughout the day, or did you get a flurry in the morning, or how'd that look?
Oh, yeah, in that spot, they just came all day. It's just, you probably, it's almost a hitter cast. Yeah, it was nearly a fisher cast. They weren't all big ones. I mean, you had to sift through a lot of small ones. Yeah, there were a lot of fish there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool. One more thing before we move off the fishing for the Saturday. Did you lose any big ones? Like, how'd that look?
No, not really. I don't think so. I can remember, no. You don't tend to get a lot of really big fish up there in that, that 40 centimetre mark. And you don't, the good thing about up there too is that because it's fresh a lot of the time, you don't get the barnacles on the wood. So you don't, even if you do get a fish, it gets wrapped around a stick or something. It's, usually pretty safe up there. You can fish a bit lighter as well. So, no, usually ones you hook, you usually get, which is good.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we said before we hit record, you had, do you have Bill Bland on for the Saturday?
I did, yeah. I did, yes.
Yeah, and how'd Bill go?
Yeah, well, Bill came in, I can't remember what Bill was. I think he was second.
Third
on day one, yeah.
Third place.
Yeah, third.
Oh, okay, maybe second on day one, but third overall.
Yeah. So, no, Bill had a good day. Yeah, really good day. Yeah, it's just a good guy to fish with, and we had just had a good day fishing, which always makes it easier too, and a comp makes things a bit more relaxed.
Absolutely. All right, so then overnight, so when you head back to the caravan site or wherever you're staying, do you do a full re-rig, or how's that look for you?
Yeah, well, I live in Augusta with my partner, so we just went home and just went over stuff. Yeah, just re-rigged the main rods, the one with the bent and the slim swims.
The slim swim.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, I do like traveling around, but there's nothing like sleeping in your own bed for a comp.
No, that's good. Exactly, mate. Exactly. You always get a good night's sleep.
Exactly. All right. Sunday morning, tell us about how Sunday went for you. And did you go straight back to your spot, or did you head off somewhere else first?
Yeah, I thought it was a beautiful morning. So, it's glass off. So I thought I'd try. There's a little bay in it's called McLeod's Creek up near Alexander Bridge, which is quite shallow. So I thought I'd target that just with the bents, just to see if I could get some fish in there. And we got a few small ones, but nothing. I think Thomas, guess he lost a good fish in there. But and then we just went up to, I wanted to start back a bit from where I'd started the day with Bill, so I could kind of cover that full stretch of the bite zone for the next day. So, yeah.
Okay. With your bent minnows, do you have a favourite colour and size?
The first day I threw I think it's the clown face one in a 80, is it an 86?
86 is the second size, yep.
Yeah, the 86, yeah. And then on the day two, I think I threw the green, I can't remember the colour, but more of a greeny back.
Okay.
a natural colour in the 72, isn't it? I think 72, yeah.
76, I think.
76, yeah.
76, yeah. Okay, and with you, are you, like, how are you working them? Like, is it just a really, like a twitch and pause, or?
Yeah, it was actually. Yeah, it was a real twitch and pause and just kind of, long pauses, just trying to, because the water was so clear up there, you could see the fish coming if they were going to come, to a point where you're kind of pulling it out of the way of the little ones. So, you can hope, you see a big one coming and you got to move it so he could get it. Yeah, so that's, mainly, just trying to draw those big fish out of the schools, and get them, because there's a lot of little fish in the river at the moment.
Yeah, it's such a cool way to fish, particularly if you're standing up on a boat and you can get a good vision on it. See the fish coming is very exciting.
Yeah, I know. It's a bit addictive, actually. It's hard to put it down when you're when you're trying to get upgrade. And, you're still getting the little ones, yeah.
Fair enough. All right, so you went back up to, let's just call it your salt wedge. How'd that play out for you?
Yeah, good. So the day before, Bill was throwing a baby vibe, which he did really well on, and gave me one of those. So I ended up throwing that for most of the morning and, got a lot of fish, but nothing really big. And then it was probably an hour and a half to go. And so I thought I'll change sides. I went to the deep side and I put on a Outback Brimmer's muss, and upgraded probably 5 or 6 times with really good fish. So just to bring that bag up to put me back in the run again. So that was really good. Bit of luck, I suppose. So it was good.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like a nice comp. Like, killed a bunch of fish. You ended up in the top pointy end of the field against we had a few guys come across and try and get some Angler of the Year points. You had a bit of a tougher field over there. But overall, looks like a great comp.
Yeah, it was a good comp. Yeah, no, it's really good. The WABT guys run a really good comp, and it's always friendly and, a bit of fun for the weekend. And, it was good to have the guys from over east come over. Yeah, it always makes it a bit more competitive.
Definitely. And you also took them all out. How good's that?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah. There was, I think one of them was fishing up near us on the second day. So, I thought he might have zoned in on where we were, but he kind of disappeared. I don't know who it was, but I was lucky.
Yeah. Well, there you go. All right, mate. One more thing before we move off the fishing. What sort of lines and leaders do you like to run for the Blackwood? Yeah,
I was running, it was 8 pound, the new Daiwa.
The Expedition?
Expedition, yep. And I was using 5 pound straight through on the muss, which is the J thread. And then, mainly just the Daiwa leaders as well. Okay.
And why'd you choose the 5 pound straight through? Why not braid and leader? Like, what's your thoughts there?
Oh, just so that it's just the water's been so clear. Like, it's just so clear this year that it just makes it. And 5 pound, I've always fished kind of 5 pound up there. Yeah, so it's because there's not as many mussels on the wood. So, you can usually use that lighter line.
Perfect. I reckon that's a pretty good rundown of the fishing. What did you get to take home for third place? Do you remember?
$600.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's not bad for fishing on your local.
Yeah, no, it's a good couple of days to be paid for fishing. Yeah, it's good.
All right, mate. So there's a couple of things before we head off. So first of all, you said that you run a charter business out of there. Maybe can you give us a bit of an idea about what you specialise in and what clients could look for to if they came for a fish with you?
Yeah, so I run a fishing charter business out of Augusta. So you can either go from Alexander Bridge, which is a bit further up, which is a lot more out of the wind, because Augusta's quite windy. And then I also go from Augusta, more targeting bream and flathead, herring and whiting, on the flats. So there's two types. You can fish flats or up the river.
Okay. And is it all lure based?
All lure based, yeah. It's just more or less, all lure based, which ladies like because they don't like bait on their hands, I found out. So you can take up to 4 people. And
wow.
So I can take a family for a tour if they like, further up the river and do a bit of swimming and stuff as well. And just getting people out to enjoy the river.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful place.
Yeah, and basically, if someone came along, they could basically just turn up with the clothes on their back, jump on, and they're good to go. Is that how that looks?
That's correct. Yeah, I supply all the gear. Yep, I can supply lunch. So, yeah, you just turn up and we go fishing.
Perfect. All right, and what's the best way to get in contact with you?
Okay, the name of the business is Augusta Wild Fish Tours, and you can chase me up on Facebook or on the website, augustawildfishtours.com.au.
Perfect. Well, there you go, everyone. If you're interested in having a tour down there, jump on there and have a look. And, mate, one last thing. Aside from your business, mate, is there anyone that you want to give a shout-out to or say thank you to with regards to this competition?
It's just all the guys at WIBT. They put a lot of hard yards promoting and putting the events on, and just like to say a big thanks to them. Yeah, and all the sponsors who, put forward their products, and it's a really good event.
Very good. All right, mate. Lovely to talk to you, and we'll talk to you again soon.
No worries. Thanks, Andrew.
Okay, so Podium Marine Wraps, they specialise in custom boat wraps, offering a full range of services including full graphic works, half wraps, colour changes, boat decals, and custom boat names. Their wraps not only enhance the appearance of boats, but also help to protect the paint and increase resale value. They offer fast turnaround times, often completing wraps in a single day, which means less time off the water for boat owners. Now, Podium Marine Wraps collaborates with Fish Rec Graphics, and they offer exclusive designs, and all of their artwork can be customized or completely newly created to suit individual tastes. Whether you're looking to make a bold statement on the water or update the look of your boat, Podium Marine Wraps offers a high-quality, durable option that withstands the marine environment. For more details, visit podiummarinewraps.com.au and get in touch with Corey there, and he'll give you a quote. Podium Marine Wraps, they've also done a lot of high-profile things. They've done a lot of the Escape with ET stuff. They wrapped all the boats for the Hobie Kayaks Grand Final and that sort of stuff. He's doing a great job, and it's definitely something you should look into if you want to get your things looking good and maybe even protect them just a little bit. So podiummarinewraps.com.au. Okay, so next up in a second place, dropping 5 fish for 2.83 on day one with a big brim of 0.86. Backing it up on the Sunday with 5 fish for 2.76, giving him a total of 10 fish for 5.59. And second place, I have Joseph Gardner. Welcome back, mate.
Hey, Andrew. How's it going?
Mate, it's becoming very, very regular, mate.
I think I know more about you than my missus.
Well, there you go. That's a scary thought. Well, there you go. All right, mate, another good result from you. Just letting Alex come in over the top at the last minute, I'd say.
I know. He dialed him in right at the last 30, 40 minutes, I think.
Well, there you go. Let's go into this one. So did you get a chance to have a pre-fish before this one?
Yeah, not before the event, but on the official pre-fish day, the Friday just before the comp, yes, I went out, took Mum out. She fished as a non-boater for this one as well, so we both went out, had a good look around, didn't do a lot of fishing, but I wanted to look at a few bits sort of right downriver, sort of more towards the Deadwater, Swan Lake area, right down the very, very front of the system. Typically it's weeded up, but like I said in the kayak comp this year, that there hasn't been a lot of weed, which has really helped with a lot of that downriver stuff. You can sort of fish it a lot easier. So I went down there. Just as I was going down there, Cromo was pulling out, which don't know how he found out about that spot, but he was pulling out. So I knew at least there was one person in there, and then Carl State was pulling out of there as well. So Mum and I went in, had a bit of a look around, saw plenty of fish, and I knew at a minimum that I'd have a bag filler spot down there.
Yeah, okay. And look, you'd had a good result in the kayak comp a month earlier. Did that help leading into this one?
Yeah, it did. I didn't really touch any of the spots I fished in that comp. I wanted to leave all that sort of alone. I did go right up in the very back of North Bay. I took Mum right up there. She hadn't been as far up it as you can go. But the water temp up there was, touching 9, 10 degrees in some bits, which is just, it's too cold for the fish that time of year to be up there. We didn't even see any. So I ruled that spot out pretty quickly. went down to the dead water, looked at that, and then obviously I knew the couple spots from the kite comp the month before that should still be all right.
Okay. So a reasonable amount of intel leading in, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. Tell us how Saturday went. You end up with a great bag. So tell us how that went for you.
Yeah, so Craig Doherty, who I fished with a few times before, I had him as the non-boater. We had an absolute ball catching loads of fish. Started the day right in town on some of the town jetties and Lion Island down the front, just fishing a sprat, brim prawn. That was pretty much the first two baits I was throwing. I didn't get a lot on mussels this comp. It was mainly just those two baits. So I went down there, bagged out pretty quickly. Wasn't until we got right down the dead water sort of side that I got a bag quick, but they were all only 26 fork sort of size fish. Came out of there, went back through the Lion Island section, got fish pretty much on every single jetty, but no size to them until we got around more towards that North Bay area and managed to donk a big one pretty quickly, followed by a second big one the next cast in there.
Right. Okay. So 2 casts, 2 decent upgrades.
Yeah, 2 really good ones. I think it was a 34 fork and a 35.5 fork were the 2. Pretty much one cast after the other, just bang, bang on the way back through.
Okay. So what'd you say was a 35.5 fork?
Yep. And then one a bit smaller as well. So that was the big brim for the event on that day one.
Yeah. Well, that's what you're saying. So 870 grams for 35.5 fork. I would suggest that's probably on the lighter side of things.
Definitely. And that it's been this whole year at the Blackwood, they've all been really, really light. Which I think I was saying for the last interview, it was, I think just they don't have a lot of access to food at the moment. They're all sort of scrounging to eat bait fish and things that they've got to exert a lot of energy to actually eat. So they're all pretty skinny.
Yeah. And do you think that helps with the fishing in terms of they're a bit hungrier?
Not really. Doesn't seem like it's helped. You'd think it would, but they haven't really been that crazy. Not like years gone by.
Yeah. Okay. And on now the last interview we did, there was a bit of sadness with a fish that escaped the net. Was there any heartbreak on this one?
No, I reckon that was the same fish. I got vengeance.
Ah, well, there you go. We'll run with that either way.
Yeah, no, I got him back. Don't worry.
Very good. All right. So that looks like that was enough to put you in first place overnight. Who'd you get paired up with on day 2 and how was your day?
Yeah, paired up with Michael Samet, which I haven't actually really fished with him in a comp before, but he's a really good friend. So it was good to actually get him on board and have a really good day out. We did pretty much the same thing I did on day 1, the exact same run down the front to get a bag quickly, did that, came back through and I got one more upgrade in the same spot. I got the 2 fish the day before, similar sort of size as well, about 30, 34, 35 fork. That was the only big fish there. And then back through further upriver, there's a sort of a bank with an old jetty on it where I got a fish, probably a 31 fork, which was I was upgrading a 28 fork on a brim prawn. And then the next cast in that exact same spot, Michael put a brim prawn as well, exact same spot, and he pulled out a 35 fork to seal the deal for him.
Wow. Okay. So he got a 31, he got a 35.
Yeah, I left that one for him. I don't know why I did it.
Wow. I'm not sure that would have taken the comp out for you, but it would have got you close.
It probably would have because I think I had one around 28 forks still in there.
Okay. Yep. I wasn't thinking about that, Of course.
But either way, that sealed the deal for Michael, which was awesome. I know he's been chasing one of those wins for a long time and he's probably done more miles than anyone.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Okay, so over the 2 days, it was predominantly brim prawns and
sprats.
And sprats. Okay.
I did get upgrade late, so with Michael, we left probably a little bit early from a bit of the downriver stuff. So we had about 25, 30 minutes to kill, so went upriver. I don't fish up there that often, so he pulled up to one bank and said, well, here's where we should probably go. Did that. I threw a streaks for a little bit and I picked up a 31 fork along that bank, which was sort of the last minute upgrade.
All right. So I can't remember what the streaks is.
So that's the Z-Man streak. So very similar to the new Crush City Do one. It's like a bait fish style flick bait, just a bigger flick bait.
Yeah. So it's similar to the jerk with the Crush City.
Yeah, very similar. It's isn't as big in the head as the jerk is, so it's a little bit of a slimmer profile. Still 3.75 inch, but yeah, a little bit slimmer. So they got the final upgrade on that. Other than that, it was all brim prawns and sprats.
Yeah, no, okay. So, we've done a lot of interviews now, and I would say most of the interviews that we've done have been pygmy mussels, or there's been a lot of that. Why not this comp?
They weren't eating it, and same in the kite comp. Even though I caught a lot of fish on it, it was probably more me throwing it because I was confident with it rather than changing up to something that it seemed like they were eating more of. Yeah, I don't think there's as many pygmy mussels in the system as there has been previously, and that's probably changed it up a bit.
Yeah, okay. Well, that makes sense. The pygmy mussel, so that's your bait, obviously. Did you design that off an exact mussel? Did you mold it off one? Is that how you did it?
Yeah, so that one's based off of one down in Mandurah off of Rockwell there that Mitch Vane went and got a big handful of them. So that's based on one of those, which is, I can't pronounce the species of mussel, but it's actually across all of Australia. Like the distribution is all of Australia. You can find that mussel. And even in the Gold Coast at the back of the bigger waters on the weekend, there was those same mussels along the back few pontoons.
Right. And I bet you've got an eagle eye for them too.
Yeah, they stick out now.
Exactly. Oh, very cool. All right, mate. So, look, it was enough to hold you in second. You're pretty decent to Alex and let him climb over the top there. In terms of lines, leader and tackle, what were you running for the weekend?
Yeah, down the front, it was all 4 pound leader. I've still got 4 pound in the old Yamato Harris Fighter, which obviously they don't make anymore. I've got a whole heap of the 4 pound and that still to use. Otherwise, it was 6 pound, and it's the Daiwa one that I've been using, the red spool. Can't remember what it's called.
The X-Link? Is it the X-Link one?
Yeah, I think so.
Cross-link, whichever way you want to pronounce it.
Yeah. So I've been using that. I found that's actually quite similar to the old Harris Fighter. I tried a few different lines, and that's the best one I found is the new Daiwa one.
Yeah, nice. All right, mate. Second place. What'd you get to take home?
Yeah, with Big Bream, it was 1,900 in cash plus a new pair of sunnies, which worked out really well because I've stuck my old pair together with super glue many times over the last few years. So
right,
to get another pair, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And actually, my last pair that I won was back in 2016, my first ever ABT comp, fished as a non-boater and won the pair of Costas from that, actually. So first ever ABT and then the most recent one as well.
How good is that? And I assume from this you're well qualified for the ABT Grand Final on Lake Mac, I think?
Yeah, I should get in with points, hopefully, over here to fish the Tweed and the Richmond River shortly. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, very good. All right, mate. I think we're going to leave it there with one last thing. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Probably non-boaters both days. I mean, I had a ball with Craig and Michael as well. So that was heaps of fun. And obviously taking Mum out, it's always fun taking her out. Morgo came across for this one, although he didn't help with much of the setup or pack down. He did pick up the mic at the end, which was really big help for the event with us running it. Obviously, ABT giving us the opportunity over in WA to still have events is amazing.
Exactly. And he did tell me beforehand he was going over there for a holiday, and fish a bream.
Oh, we still put him to work.
Very good. All right, mate. We are going to leave it there. Thanks so much for coming on again. Good luck on the weekend with the double header up in northern New South Wales. And hopefully we get to. There's a very good chance I'm going to get to talk to you again soon.
Oh, hopefully. Always good chatting.
Very good, mate. Thank you.
Cheers, Andrew. Bye.
All right. So finally, coming in first place, we have an angler that is no stranger to the Bream Fishing Project. Dropping 10 fish for 6 kilos even. I have Alex Griesdorf. Welcome back to the show, mate.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Mate, nice win in the ABT. You must be way happy about that.
Yeah, I haven't probably been that happy about winning an event for quite a while, to be honest. Yeah, I've been very close in ABT events here in WA over the years. And yeah, that was my second ever win that I've had. And that's probably the 15th or 20th ABT that I've probably fished. So
right.
Definitely has not been a happy hunting ground for me. I think I put a lot of pressure on myself to win them. And I get in the top 5 quite often, but I usually figure out some way to cost myself or do the wrong thing it's tend to been a bit of a potluck sort of thing. I can't quite get over the hump with it, but it was good to do that finally, and it's
Definitely a good one to take out. All right, mate, let's get into it. Did you get a chance to have a pre-fish on the Blackwood?
No, I fished the kayak event probably 5 weeks before the ABT event, and I got second place in that, like very narrowly. I should have probably won that one, which I was pretty disappointed with myself, losing fish on that event, as we went through in an interview in the past. And no, I didn't fish it for the whole time leading up to the event. I went out on the pre-fish day, had a bit of a look around and just kind of looked through some banks that I like to fish. And I didn't even fish them, to be honest with you. I fished one later in the day around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock when I was about to get off the water and whacked a good fish. And I was like, yep, they're there. So I'll just go fish the next day. And pre-fish day, I caught plenty of fish. I went and fished all around the river and, just sort of ran around in the boat and fished some areas that I never fished, tried some different stuff, and it was a good day on the water. And then, obviously ran into day one.
Very good. Very good. All right, mate, leading into day one, mate, tell us a bit about your day on the Saturday and how you went about catching your fish.
Yeah, well, the day one, it was forecast to be pretty still with no wind for most of the day until around midday. So I knew what I was trying to do was pretty critical to wind. I needed a ripple on the water. So I sort of started out just in a few different banks trying to nut out a few fish. And to be fair, I didn't have anything in the well. I think I had one small fish in the well up until about 9 o'clock or so on day one.
Okay. Wow.
And then, I had didn't have much till then. The wind sort of come up and I started picking fish up, bang, 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 as the wind came up on day one. Variety of different lures from the Z-Man Slim Swims to got fish on the little pygmy mussel by my muscle bait. And those were sort of what accounted for most of my fish on day one. It was pretty critical to allow us fishing with the wind. Late in the day would have been around 1 o'clock, I started picking up my bag and, slowly getting upgrades and that. I had an okay bag, pretty much what I weighed in at the end of the day. And, sort of towards the end of the day, I had quite a big fish for the Blackwood, probably over a 40 forker, quite a proper kegger fish, and got it out of the structure that it was in and was a little bit skeptical how intact my leader still was, and sort of nana dragged it back to the boat, and I got within, 5 feet of the net, 3 feet of the net, saw it, done a big head shake right by the net, and see you later, bye-bye. So I would have changed out. I still had a 27 forker in my live well on Saturday. That would have changed that out to probably a 40 forker or close to it. So would have been an easily 500-600 gram upgrade to my bag, which is a little bit disappointing, but you don't always land them. And the Blackwood, as much as she can be fruitful, she can be very tough in that way too. I tend to lose a lot of good fish there, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's definitely let's say a good fish to lose. Well, you didn't want to lose it, but it was a good fish that you lost.
Yeah.
And
would have been a $500 fish too.
Yeah, I guess it would have been.
It would have definitely been bigger than the 850 gram one that one big bream. So.
Yeah, absolutely. What was your biggest fish over the 2 days?
I got a 34 forker on the second day that would have been around about 800 grams. It was probably my biggest one. So, that was it pretty much on the day one. I caught a lot of fish, but didn't get a lot of the right sort of bites, but there wasn't a lot of wind. It was very still. There just wasn't the right conditions to get those bigger fish to bite, unfortunately. So I knew with a 2.5 kilo bag that I wasn't out of the event. The Blackwood's usually pretty tight with weight. There's a lot of that sort of 28 to 34 fish. So a lot of people tend to have a 2 to 2.5 kilo bag. If you get the bigger guys to bite, you can really creep up. So that was my plan on day 2, to stick it out. And I knew I was in the right area. I just needed to get the right bites.
Yeah. And on the Saturday, was there a standout using slim swims and pygmy mussels? And was there anything stand out there?
No, I caught fish pretty much on all those baits pretty much throughout the day. There wasn't a specific one that outfished the other. I caught multiple fish of my bag on both of those baits for the day.
Okay. And one thing that I was thinking about, if you're waiting for the wind to come up, were you finding the fish like really close to the bank, or were they sort of on the secondary drop off, or how that looked?
It was weird. The biggest fish that I hooked all weekend was in about 2 feet of water. There was a bit of shade where he was sitting on top of a bank. The other fish ranged from about 3 to 6 feet deep, probably. So not overly deep. Definitely not 3, 4, 5 meters deep at all. No, nothing like that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's what I figured. Like I said, if you're waiting for the wind, you're probably not fishing the super deep areas.
No. I mean, the banks that I was fishing had deeper water near it. There was banks that I was fishing that are 3, 4 meters deep out where the boat is.
Yeah.
But most of the bites were in that sort of 3 to 6, 7 feet mark, pretty much.
Yeah. With your slim swims, are you sort of slow rolling them, or is it a drop and a twitch and drop, or how's that look?
It's a bit different. I do a bit of slow rolling, and then if I'm getting bites, I'll tend to give it a bit of an erratic twitch, if that makes sense. And that triggers quite often a bigger bite. You'll have the little ones sort of tap, 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 and you kind of give it a bit of a rip, and the bigger one will just nail it, usually, when you do that. It's a little bit of a different tactic, but it works.
Yeah, so a bit of a trigger for them.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. All right. On overnight, where were you overnight?
I was sitting in 3rd place, I think. 3rd? Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, right up there. Sunday morning, mate, how'd you go about finding? You've got a much better bag, so how'd that play out?
Well, Sunday morning, same sort of conditions. It was due to have a bit of a front come through with a bit of rain. We had a bit of rain overnight. The Saturday afternoon had a bit of thunderstorms and rain come through. And then the Sunday, it was supposed to be more wind and more cloud, which, funnily enough, it didn't really have any wind and cloud until later in the day. But in the morning, I sort of stuck to the same thing. I fished a bit slower, and it was good because a lot of the boats kind of left where I was fishing. Day 1, there was a lot more boats around me. Day 2, they all sort of buggered off. And I kind of just picked fish up in the morning. I mean, I got a legal pretty much in the first 10, 15 minutes. I got my first fish. I kind of expected to get a few more fish off that bank to start with, but I didn't. Went over to another spot, picked up I think it was about a 29 or a 30 forker on a pygmy. And then, again, that was the spot that I didn't fish the day before because there was people fishing it. Went up to another bit, pulled I think it was a 32 forker or something like that off another bit, and I got another fish that was around the same size probably a half hour later. So I had 4 fish in my well within the first hour and a half of the day, and 3 of them were good fish. 29 to 33 forkers. Those are all pretty good fish for the Blackwood. So I was pretty. At 8:30, I was like, well, I got 3 more fish in my live well than I did yesterday, and 3 of them are ones that I'm not going to be too sad about weighing in this afternoon. So I just kind of kept fishing. I knew I was in the area. I knew I was in the right spot. Just kind of kept rotating through. And then once the wind came up, I'd saved some spots to fish from day 1 to fish them on day 2. And as soon as I had enough wind, I sort of moved to those spots. And it was a really good decision. I picked up 3 good upgrades all in the space of about an hour. Yeah, I think I upgraded 29 forkers to a 34 and a 33 forker. And yeah, I think in the end I had a good average size bag. All my fish were I think the smallest I had was about a 31 forker, with the biggest being a 34 forker. So definitely not small fish, good size fish. And I sort of, I had 3.5 kilos. So you average about 700 grams of fish, give or take, something like that.
Yeah, that's right. And that's a really good bag, particularly for the Blackwood.
Yeah.
And did you drop any on the Sunday? Was it the Sunday you dropped that big one, or was it the Saturday?
No, it was the Saturday I dropped the big one. The Sunday, every big bite I got, I stuck. So I didn't have any issue with that on Sunday. I caught all the fish I hooked pretty much. Saturday, like I said, I missed a few on Saturday, one being a really big one. But another Sunday, they all stuck. And I mean, in the end, I won by, I think it was 400 grams anyways. So it didn't cost me the event that fish, but I couldn't complain how it fished on the Sunday. I sort of made all the right calls, and it would have been nice to put my non-boaters on a few fish, but tried to fish areas, and they just couldn't catch any, unfortunately.
I was going to say, you end up winning by 410 grams. So if you had landed that big fish on day 1, I think based on what you told me, you'd be up over a kilo in front.
Oh yeah, I would have won by a kilo if I had that big one for sure. Yeah, that big one would have upgraded, like I said, a 450, 500 gram fish. So you would have been easily 500 gram upgrade. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely a good fish to have. All right. In terms of lines and leaders, what do you like for the Blackwood?
I've been using a new Saltiga PE braid of late. Mainly been using that. I think that's a PE 0.8. I think, what is it, 10 pound to 12 pound from memory?
Okay. Yeah.
It's quite a nice soft braid. And I used 4 and 5 pound leaders all weekend on the Blackwood. I went lighter than what I probably normally go, mainly because it was still and sunny in a lot of the conditions. So I thought, going just that little bit lighter, there's a risk I'm going to get smoked, but also the chances of me getting a few extra bites, which I thought were pretty key. So I sort of weighed it up.
Absolutely. And for jig heads into your soft plastics, what were you running?
Most of them were on a TT 112 jig head. Most of the ones I ran on the weekend, the headlock.
Okay.
I actually ran out of some of the jig heads, so I ended up having to use a Gamma as well. So pretty sure they were all 112s. I was pretty much fishing all weekend.
Yeah.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure it was 112s.
Yeah, very good. Sounds about right.
Yeah.
All right. Mate, I reckon that's a pretty good rundown of the fishing. What'd you get to take home for first place in the ABT?
I think it was about $2,100 and a trophy, obviously. So it was pretty stoked with that and qualify for the grand final at Late May.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. That's a great prize. Are you coming across?
My intention is to, I'll be over for the Hobies. And if I can find a boat for Late Mac, I will definitely be trying to head over.
Well, there you go. Well, any of the listeners out there that want to share a boat with Alex, jump on, get him on social media.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, flick me a message. I'm happy to look after you in an agreement to borrow the boat. That'll be fun.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. All right, mate, one more thing before we head off. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to, say thank you to?
Yeah, just thanks to the companies that supported me over the years. The boys at Tackle Tactics always hooking me up with tackle on that with the jig heads and the plastics. I mean, as you probably heard in my events, I'm a pretty big plastics fisherman, so Z-Mans have been pretty good to me in that way. And obviously Lowrance as well. And the Active Tiger 2 is proven to be a bit of a changer in the way I fish and the electronics and the ghost trolling motors and all that sort of stuff on the boat now is definitely a game changer. Makes you... I was handicapping myself before how I was fishing, so now I've got all the tech.
Well, there you go. There you go. All right, mate. That is brilliant. Thanks again for coming on. Mate, we'll definitely talk to you again soon, no doubt.
No worries, mate. Well, good luck over on the Gold Coast, mate. And hopefully you get into a few.
That's it. All right. Thanks, Alex.
All right, buddy. Have a good one.
All right. So there you have it, everybody. Another episode done and dusted. And what a great episode it was. All right. For those of you who haven't checked out the Bream Fishing Project Collective, jump on it. Today's the day so we can get you involved tomorrow night for the live stream. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up right there, and I'll talk to you next week on the Bream Fishing Project or tomorrow night for those of you who have jumped on board. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. Hopefully you were informed, inspired and entertained. If you were able to learn something or just enjoyed listening, please consider subscribing and rate us on your favourite podcasting platform.